Yes.
What's Labor's specific concern about the $80 million water buyback that was overseen by Barnaby Joyce?
Where do we start? Our specific concern is that $80 million was spent for apparently not very much, if any, water. That's point one. Point two, the Department of Agriculture released a statement last week which raised more questions than it answered, in our very strong view. And Tony Burke has written to the department inviting them to provide further and better particulars, and we await those answers. This is a most serious matter. This is very serious. This government treats taxpayers' money like it's their own personal plaything. You know, almost $500 million for a private foundation for the barrier reef, agreed in one meeting with no process, no worries. You know, $80 million for water, which experts say was worthless. Mere technicality, says Barnaby Joyce. Details, like actually getting some water back into the system. The government has to answer these questions. The Department of Agriculture should answer Mr Burke's questions, and when we receive those answers, then we'll consider further our options. But if Mr Morrison and Mr Joyce and the government think they can just wave this away and it's going to go away, I think they are very seriously mistaken.
Does Labor think any rules have been broken in this process?
Well, they're the questions we're asking at this point. We're always very careful about these things. We don't make allegations without doing due diligence and asking the right questions. And that's what Mr Burke has been doing. Asking those questions. We hope and expect to see those answers. If those answers aren't satisfactory to us, then we'll consider what options are available to us when and if we receive those answers.
Is a Royal Commission one of those options?
We will consider our options when we see the quality of the answers we receive. But, you know, the government should stop hiding behind... Scott Morrison says we've released the documents. They've got, you know, more black marks in them than a school assignment. It's been redacted all the way through. All the key details are missing. So Mr Morrison's being very cute and tricky. He should just provide all the answers to Mr Burke. If the government's got nothing to hide, then they've got nothing to fear, but they clearly have quite a bit to hide.
How many Wales state election results suggest that water in the Murray-Darling Basin system is a huge electoral issue? What is Labor going to do about that?
Well, of course, Tony Burke has outlined our views about that issue, and I'm sure he'd be more than happy to provide you with further answers on that. Of course, every Australian and every New South Wales resident, every Australian saw those pictures in the early part of this year and were dismayed. And Tony has visited the sites, met with locals. That's more than the Environment Minister, Melissa Price, has done, and he's been very proactive on the issue.